No actions seen in this video should be performed without complete training and proper caution.
But that's what I'm going to be using today. There's multiple kinds of Glocks, and I think some other pistols that will function in a similar fashion to this. So the first thing you're going to want to do is right here, you're going to depress the magazine release. That'll pop right out. Your magazine just going to slide out. Put that to the side. And you're going to want to grab your slide with your non-dominant hand here. Pull back. Look. You can see that there's nothing in the chamber there. You want to make sure of that. Even after we've cleared the chamber, we're still going to want to, for safety, we're going to want to point our weapon at a safe distance, pull the trigger, so we know that there's nothing in the chamber. Alright, so now the first thing you're going to do is shift your dominant hand, or your trigger hand, upwards, make kind of a C grip, where your thumb is on this side, your other fingers are on top. You're going to grab the slide with these 4 fingers and push forwards with your thumb and backwards with these fingers, like that. We're going to want to bring our slide back about 1/8 of an inch. And while we're pulling our slide back, we're going to take our non-dominant hand and grab the slide lock here. There's one on each side. Pull those both down at the same time, and while holding those down, release our slide. Then from there, it should be easy. Just push the slide forward. And if you've done that and your trigger has been primed again, you're just going to pull the trigger, try it again. That just means that you pulled your slide back a little too far. Easy fix. So now we're going to set that to the side for now. Right here, we have our recoil spring. We're going to push in on the barrel end just a little bit, pull up, and that'll pop right out. Then down here, we have the locking block. We're just going to push that up, and the barrel will slide right out of the slide. This barrel, that is where your round is going to be coming through. So when we clean, we're going to make sure we clean that extra well. Now, you can set that to the side for now. You're going to grab your bore brush here. We're going to assemble our bore brush, and your bore brush should tell you what it's designed for. You want to make sure it says either 9mm or 38. That's going to be the caliber. That'll make sure it fits within your bore. So now, coming from here, we're going to take our bore brush, and normally you'd put a little bit of CLP or whatever lubricant of your choice on this bore brush right here, but I've just run out of my CLP, so I'm just going to demonstrate without it for now. You're going to run it through here, twisting it. You're only going to want to run one way. Do not pull it back through. And you want to make sure that that's copper or brass or nylon, not steel, because that could damage the inside of our bore here. So now we're going to have to take our bore brush off and pull that back out. And you're going to want to run that through a few more times until it looks clean. You can use a bore snake after if you really want to get extra clean, but it's not really necessary. Now, after we've run that through with our lubricant, we're going to set our bore to the side. We're going to grab our slide. Now, while we're cleaning the slide the whole time, we want to make sure that we have our muzzle pointing downwards, because we don't want to get anything in this breeching mechanism right here, or in the firing pin chamber right here. So we're going to want to keep those as dry as possible. So now you can grab your nylon brush. You're just going to want to just start scrubbing away on all the exposed surfaces, outside and inside. And we're really going to want to focus on the rails specifically. Now, there will be a little bit of this copper residue on the inside of your rails. That's the Glock long-term lubricant, and that'll stay in there a while. So don't worry too much about that. I know it looks like dirt, but don't worry about that. We're just gonna keep brushing right here. There's the inside. Get the muzzle. Or the outside. And right here, we're gonna keep brushing away and out. You're gonna want to go more with a Q-tip in here to get in some of these smaller spots. And make sure you put a little CLP, but again, not around the breeching mechanism or the firing pin mechanism. We're gonna want to keep those as dry as possible. So again, really focus on the rails here. Make sure we get those cleaned out nice and good. We're going to clean everything as much as we can. And just basically do that until your Q-tip looks clean, if you've run it through. And then you're going to want to go through and put a little more CLP on everything other than your firing mechanism or your breeching mechanism. Really, really keep those dry. Do that, run through, wipe down your muzzle a little bit, and then we're done with the slide. Set the slide to the side. Now, we'll grab our recoil spring, our nylon brush, a little bit of CLP on it, and just brush away. And after we're done with that, you want to put an extra little dollop of CLP, not too big, on the end of our recoil spring here. Now, over here, we're just going to take our nylon brush with a dab of CLP and just scrub away at every exposed surface, inside and out. Anything you can get at. And really make sure you get in and around and behind the trigger mechanism. Now once we're done there, if you want, you can take a clean rag and just run it through the magazine well here. You can pull it all the way through, or you can just do it like I'm doing right here. Either way is fine. Now we're done with that. So we're gonna make sure we have an extra little dollop of CLP on our lug right here. This is all part of the locking block. On our lug here, our head is right here. Back of our recoil spring, our rails on our slide, and these rails here. Okay, now we're ready for reassembly. First thing we're going to do is grab our slide here, our barrel. We're going to come in from the top, and just slide that through like so. Drop it in, and then push back. That should click into place, and it shouldn't really move. Now we grab our recoil spring. We want to have our plastic end, this black piece right here, facing towards the muzzle, and the metal piece facing towards the barrel. We're going to stick the muzzle end in first and compress it. There's two wells right here, but the first thing, we're not going to go for the first one. We want to go for the second one, which is curved. We're going to push a little bit harder and push that recoil spring down into place. Now that shouldn't move either. From here, we grab our entire slide. We flip it over. We make sure we line it up with our rails. Like take a couple of tries, and then once we get it lined up, we're there. So from here, we're just going to do a little function test. You're going to want to pull your slide back, point it at a safe distance, squeeze your trigger, then while still depressing the trigger, pull your slide back, release your slide, and release the trigger again. You should hear a click. Then squeeze the trigger again, and you should hear and feel another click. And that's it. You've just field stripped and cleaned Glock 19 5th generation.